Your switch kick sucks. Let me tell you why and how you can fix it. What's up, pro fighter? Sean Fagan here from MuayThaiGuy.com. And maybe your switch kick doesn't suck, maybe it does. Regardless, there's always room for improvement. And I'm gonna show you some key concepts and top mistakes that I see a lot of people make when it comes to throwing the switch kick. By the way, if you like these shorts and gloves, check out some of the links in the description because we got a lot of sexy stuff up in there. All right, so switch kick, right? So when I throw the switch kick, there's a bunch of things I want to focus on, okay? Now, some of the most common mistakes I see is obviously when you switch, you want to switch so your hip and shoulder are behind you. The shoulder doesn't necessarily mean to be that far behind you, but the idea is getting this hip a little bit behind you so this way you can generate more power into your kick, okay? If the hip is in front, it's going to be hard to rotate and get a lot of power behind it. So that's why you switch, so this hip is back and you can drive power to it. Now, when people switch, they generally do one of these next few things. They either switch where their feet or they switch too wide. And so when they're wide like this, it's going to be hard to get enough balance and control in your kick to generate a lot of power, okay? Another thing that people do is they literally jump, okay? And their eye level changes. If your eye level changes and I'm fighting you, then I know a switch kick is coming, okay? So when you switch, you want to make sure that your eye level isn't changing at all, and it's a nice quick switch in your feet, okay? Another thing I see people do is not switch enough, and then they end up with their feet almost parallel to each other. So what I want to do when I switch is I want to switch so this way my feet are just substituting where they were, okay? So I'm just getting to my opposite stance essentially. So my feet are here right now, okay? All I'm going to do is change the position where they are. So they're still going to be underneath my hips and underneath my shoulders. So this way I'm essentially just going to be throwing a kick from southpaw now. Okay, a good practice to do is you could just go to southpaw and throw a kick from this direction a few times. So this way you can get used to what it feels like with your hip and your body to throw a kick from the opposite stance. Then all you got to do is add the switch into it. And it's funny how this little switch can just mess people up so easily. But the idea is when I switch, another common mistake I see people make is they switch and their foot almost like comes to the opposite side. So if I'm like fighting you right here, okay, and I switch, I see people switch where they're coming this angle. So now when I throw the kick, my kick is like coming across my hips and I'm losing a lot of power in my hips. When I switch, I want my foot, my rear foot, so I'm a righty, right? I want my rear foot to come out to an angle, if anything, this way. So this way now my hip has more room to move and to drive through, okay? At the very least, it should be stationary. It should be right here, okay? But ideally, I like to switch where my foot comes slightly to the outside because then I have more momentum in my kick. My head is off the center line and I can drive a little bit more power into the kick as well, okay? So when I throw the switch kick, I'm going to switch my foot, okay? I'm going to come up on the balls of my foot here, rotate my body through, throw this arm across. It's the same concept when I'm throwing a roundhouse. This arm starts up and then it swings down, okay? This is like a built-in defense here, and this helps with the hip pop and the shoulder turn. So as I switch, boom, I drive up, I rotate, and then come back down, okay? Now, another common mistake I see people make is when they retract their switch kicks. A lot of people will throw the switch kick and then come back down into the opposite stance, which isn't wrong. In fact, I usually do that because I fight in both stances, so I can throw the switch kick and then fight southpaw and then move from southpaw if I wanted to. But if you're just starting and you're in your early stages, it's important to get back to the stance that you feel most comfortable with. So I'm going to throw the switch kick, all right? And then from here, my foot's going to come down and this foot's going to come back, okay? So I throw a switch kick and then down and back. I'm right back into a fight stance. So this way I can keep throwing if I want to. If you wanted to work on fighting for both stances, then you throw and you come back and then you can go to your southpaw stance, okay? Another key thing that I see people do is they don't rotate their shoulders and upper body. This is true for the roundhouse or for the switch kick. A lot of people will do a good job at swinging this arm down, but since they swing this arm down, they keep their shoulder back, okay? You want to swing this arm down while rotating the shoulder. Same idea with the switch kick. If I switch, I'm going to rotate this arm down and rotate my shoulder, okay? So a lot of people will switch and kick with their leg and their shoulder will stay back like this. I'll try to do it at an angle so you can see. They'll switch and throw it so their leg is kind of going through. I want my whole body to be going through. So I need this shoulder to come through. And it's kind of counterintuitive because your arm is swinging down. So you're like, oh shit, I want to keep my shoulder back. But your shoulder is coming through as your arm is swinging back. I know it's kind of like all backwards and everything, but you have to like just train this over and over and over again until it starts to make a little bit more sense to you, okay? So I'm gonna throw a switch kick, and as I do that, my arm's gonna swing down and the shoulder's gonna come through, okay? Then I reset back into my stance. Again. One more. There we go, okay? A really good person to watch, as I'm sure you probably know, is Ball Cow. Ball Cow has one of the best switch kicks, especially in the K1 days, so definitely check out some of his videos. If you want more power in your kicks, I have a free download with 3 power kicking workouts that you can check out in the description below. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. What mistakes do you find people make? Was this helpful to you at all? Let me know what you thought. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.